Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm taking another look at Food Chain Island, the first in the Simply Solo line of games from Button Shy Games and designer Scott Almes. Yeah, that's right, I said I'm taking another look because I did cover this game as a playthrough of a print and play copy of the game before the Kickstarter campaign launched. But now it's been a while since the campaign has gone through. I never did my sort of thoughts on the game, and also I've gotten my hand on both of the expansions, the Friendly Waters expansions and the Tough Skies expansion, and I thought it could be a good chance for me to sit down, play through the game one more time with an alternate setup, and throw in both expansions so you can get an idea of how the game plays with the expansions as well, and then I can finally sit down and let you know how I feel about the game. So with all that being said, meet me down at the table so I can show you how the game plays with both expansions, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think both about the base game and the expansions. Okay, so as I mentioned above, this is going to be the second time I've done a video playthrough of the base game. So I'm not going to teach the rules again here. You can go back and take a look at the other video if you still need to learn how to play the base game. But instead what I'm going to do this time is we're going to introduce both of the expansions that are now available for this game. And in addition, on the back of the rule book for the base game, there are these alternate setup conditions or setup layouts. And I'm going to be using this one here in the middle just to mix things up a little bit for this second playthrough. So I'm going to begin by shuffling up the cards, and then we will lay them out again according to this layout. All right. And then I'll go ahead and adjust just to make sure everything ends up on camera. All right, so for this playthrough, I'm going to be using both the Friendly Waters and the Tough Skies expansions for this game. So we'll start with the Friendly Waters expansion. The Friendly Waters expansion is basically just adding 3 more of these sea creatures to the game. And the rules say that you shuffle these 3 sea creatures with the 2 sea creatures from the base game, and then choose 2 of them at random. In this case, I'm going to leave out the 2 sea creatures from the base game just so you can get an idea of how more of the expansion creatures work rather than accidentally playing with one of the base creatures. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up these 3 cards. And then I will draw 2 of those right here. So we've got the octopus and the dolphin. All right, so the octopus says we're going to be able to use this card to discard an unstacked animal and activate its ability, which could be very helpful if we need to figure out a way to use one of those abilities and we can't actually eat something with that creature. And the dolphin says that when we can move an animal 1 space to eat, and then we place the predator below the prey. So it's kind of like the alligator's ability, except in the other direction. The predator is going under the prey, which is a good way to get rid of a high number that we don't want existing near some very low numbers. All right, in addition to that, we're going to use the Tough Skies expansion, as I mentioned, and what that does is it's going to introduce 3 flying animals, and these flying animals are going to provide one more kind of challenge or something that we need to do during the game that's going to twist things up and make it a little bit more difficult. So we're just going to shuffle those 3 and draw 1 at random. So for this game, we will be playing with the owl. And the owl says we're going to shuffle a stack of 3 or more animals, randomly draw 1 and place it back in the same space and get rid of the others. And I can do this anytime that I want to during the game. But we need to make sure that I do this before we end or I can't win the game. So again, I need to shuffle a stack of 3 or more animals. So I have to wait till at least I have a stack of 3 or more animals. And then a couple of them are going to get thrown out, which could help or hurt me in that case. So let's see what happens. I'll set this over here. All right, so with that set up, let's go ahead and get into the playthrough and we'll see what I can do. All right, so I'm looking at this sort of cluster of 4, 3, 1 over here that could potentially sort of work to eat itself away. There is a 5 over here that connects, and the 8 could eat the 5, and there's a 7. This 15 is kind of useless, but we can sort of grow things in towards the center as we need to. And actually, we could get rid of that 15 underneath something if we use the dolphin later. We'll see if I need to do that, though. I'd rather not. This 0 could be a problem unless the 2 eats the 0. But, okay. I'm not sure how we're going to get there yet. But, I don't mind starting this way. 9 eats the 7. And it says next turn the predator must move diagonally to eat. So now this 2 is going to move here. And now it says I need to move 2 animals 1 space each. So I'm going to, I'm not sure if it's a good idea yet or not, but this 9 will move over 1, and this spider will move down here. Let's see how that helps. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to use the diagonal right away. Okay, then, yes, I'm going to move the 3 down here to eat the ant. And that says move one animal 1 to 2 spaces. So I'm going to move that 3 back up to here. And then all right, then I'll have the 4 eat the 3, which means I'm discarding something that's unstacked. And maybe I'll get rid of this 14 out here, or this 12 out here. Yeah, the 14 is just going to make stuff trickier. Let's get rid of the 14 and we'll see what happens. Okay. Then, yeah, this is where I start having fun with the bat. The bat's going to eat this 4. And then it flies over here. And the bat's going to eat the 5. And I've just realized this is a problem. We're never going to be able to get rid of this. So I definitely made a big mistake, but that's too late now to fix that. Yeah, darn. What did we just eat? The 3 and the... Nah, I'm not going to undo any of that. That's not fair. Okay, then... Yeah, this is bad already. Actually, let's undo that. I know for sure that this was a 5. Yeah, and that actually works well, because we're going to do this. I'm going to use the octopus, discard an unstacked animal to activate its ability. I can discard this 12, and it says, next turn the predator must move 2 spaces to eat. So this 5 is going to move 1, 2 spaces to eat the 2. And then it says move 1 animal 2 spaces, so it's going to move back here. Now the bat can eat that card without any issues. And it has to move, so I'm going to move it here. And then, yeah, that's nice. The 8 goes here, which says, next turn if the predator eats prey valued exactly 1 less, discard any 1 animal. I don't know that I can do that. But I'm going to use the dolphin, which says move an animal one space to eat, and then place the predator below the prey. So I'm going to have the 11 eat the 10, but place the predator below the prey like that. But I did forget about the owl, so we're going to see what happens now, because it might end up hurting me. That's 2. That's 2. So we're going to take this stack as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to shuffle this out. And then we'll randomly draw one of these and place it back where I took that from. I got really lucky because that's an 8. So those all get discarded. And that owl has been taken care of. So we'll set that over here. Then, that's a problem. If the 9 eats the 8, then the 10 eats the 9, and that's it. If the 10 eats the 9, the 13 eats the 10, and that's it. No. Okay, we're gonna have to do it that way. 10 eats the 9. Next turn, the predator must jump over an animal, moving 2 spaces in a straight line to eat. So the 13 is going to jump over that one. And now it says, instead of moving the predator over the prey, slide the prey under the predator. Means this 13 is going to be slid under the 15. But unfortunately, the 15 and the 8 are left. I cannot do anything at all about that. So that is the end of the game. All right, so while we're here, let's talk a little bit about the components. Last time I took a look at Food Chain Island, it was a print and play copy that I made myself. Nothing was finalized. This is all finalized now. So now we've got these cards, and I kind of want to take a look. I've mentioned the artwork before. I really love what they've done with the artwork on these characters. The backs of the cards are very simple, sort of textured. All of the regular land animals look like this. All of the sea animals have a sort of wavy kind of background to them. And all of the flying animals have this sort of cloud background. I really like the design of these cards. The card quality, as with every Button Shy game, is very nice. The only other thing as far as components go is the wallet. And here's the finalized wallet for Food Chain Island. I also really like this wallet. The color is a nice dark speckledy green kind of color. And just the logo of it is fun. It pops, it's very easy to read, and it's got some character to it. Yeah, I really like it. While we're down here too, I should show you the other cards that we didn't get to use in this playthrough. The last card in the Sea Creature or Friendly Waters expansion is the Manta Ray, which allows you to prevent the next predator's ability from being activated. And the other two in the Tough Skies expansion is the Eagle, which says you can use only if there are 9 or fewer animals on the map. And what you need to do is take 3 adjacent animals in one row or column, shuffle them and randomly deal them back to the original spaces. So not only do you have to be less than 9 cards on the map, you also need to make sure that you have 3 things in a row. Because if you sort of rearrange those 9 cards into a thing where there's lots of diagonals or lots of spaces, that's not going to be able to be used. So you do have to be careful with that card. And the last card in the Tough Skies expansion is this buzzard that says the next 3 predators must have odd numbers. So that one you really need to set yourself up for, or you could be in a serious issue, when you have to use this card. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. Meet me back up top and I'll discuss first what I think about the base game, because I didn't do that in my last video, and then I'll talk about the 2 expansions. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. As you can probably guess, just by the fact that I'm here again covering the same game in order to share my thoughts with you, I really enjoy this game. And there's quite a few reasons why, but let me start with a little bit of a backstory. When I first saw this game announced and I read more about it, the first thing that came to my head, and I'm sure the first thing that came into a lot of your heads, is, oh, this is one of those peg games that you used to play as a kid when you're sitting at a restaurant waiting for your food to come. And then the next thing I thought was, my brain started going, oh, It's like one of those peg games that you used to play as a kid. And I remember how punishing those were and how I never, ever, ever managed to ever figure one out. You know, I've played through them and I've won a couple of times, but I've never, ever really gotten the gist of one of those things. And to be honest, I wasn't really thrilled with that. But then I sat down and I read the rules and I realized not only is this like that peg game, so it does have this puzzle, but it's variable. Every time we start differently because the animals get randomly placed in different locations, number one. Number two, each card means each animal has a unique ability that triggers when it eats another animal. So that means every time I do something, every time I make a move, the next move is not the same as the move it was before because something's happening either in between to change the state of the board or it's affecting the way that the next animal in series is going to eat. So it's not just a matter of plotting out in your head, if I jump this and then I jump this and then I jump this and then I jump this, I win, because things are constantly changing in this game and the way that things are played are also constantly changing in this game. And while that makes the puzzle or the game a little bit more tricky, it also makes it more approachable to me. And that's because I don't like a lot of times to plan really far ahead for things. I don't like to have to plot out a strategy. When I look at the layout at the beginning of the game, sure, I'm thinking a couple steps ahead. Sure, I see this group and this group. I could do this and I could do this and something will happen, yes. But I don't plan out the future. I only plan out a couple moves ahead and then I see what happens. And I think, well, if I do this, then I can do that. But then I do it and see what happens and then I can see what comes next. Does that mean I'm great at this game? No, of course not. You've seen now 2 playthroughs where I finished with 2 cards. And you know what? That's fine. It's still a win. I still did okay. Yes, I used both sea creatures in this game. But I don't care so much about that. This game is great for other reasons. It's an 18 card game. It fits in a wallet. I stick it in my pocket. I take it wherever I go. I pull it out. I throw it on a table and very quickly it sets up instantly. And then I play through in 15 minutes or so and I've won, I've lost, whatever it is. It was a nice brain challenge. And beyond the challenge, it's just a good way to get the gears in my head turning. It's a good thing to sort of wind down at the end of a night, to just sort of let my brain, ruminate on something for a little bit longer before I go to sleep, or keep my brain active when I'm sitting around doing nothing all day, or I'm staring at a computer screen all day. It's just a nice, fun experience to pull out and then go through and see what happens. And then if it's bad, if you do poorly, shuffle it up and go again, and maybe you'll do better the next time. It's quick, it's easy, it's light, but there's a lot of braininess in this game, and I appreciate that. Now, let's talk about the expansions. The first expansion is simply just adding more of those sea creatures. So let's now talk about those sea creatures in particular. I really think those are cool, because for somebody like me who doesn't want to plan ahead, what they offer me is the ability to get halfway through the game, realize, oh, I've really ruined my chances because I wasn't planning far enough ahead. But now I've got these 2 cards off to the side that I can trigger and maybe reorganize things or shift things in such a way that now I'm not completely out of luck and I can keep playing the game. So those sea creatures for me are really great because it allows for me to be more tactical with my decisions rather than planning out a long-term strategy. And that's really helpful for me. I like that a lot. The other expansion, the Tough Skies expansion, is adding these extra twists or extra challenges that you have to do in the middle of the game. Now, I will always add those sea creatures into the game because why not have more variety? This Tough Skies expansion, I'm not always going to add it into the game, but I love having it. And because when I played that peg game as a kid, it was the same game every single time and it got boring very quickly. This game has 16 different animals and they're in different locations every time, and the way they're interacting every time is different because of the way things are moving around. The sea creatures that you're using every time are different, and this sort of mix makes things fresh every time. However, if you played this game a lot, it could start to get repetitive. It might start getting a little bit boring like those peg games did. However, if you then throw in these Tough Skies creatures, it twists things. It throws a wrench in the middle of your gameplay and it can't be the same as it always is. So it adds another level of variety. And just that little bit of extra variety with the original worlds of variety based on the different animals and the different combinations really takes the game and makes it fresh again. I mean, it was already fresh for me anyway, but if I played this to death, throwing just those 3 cards in is going to take it further and further and further and continue making it fun and allowing me to try new challenges. And then as you saw here, also, this is not part of the expansion, this is simply part of the base game, but the ability to set up a different starting shape is great because that also throws in a twist. So there's all these different levels and layers you can put in by shuffling the cards differently, placing them out on the board differently, mixing in different sea creatures, mixing in the Tough Skies expansion. And the variability keeps it going and keeps this game continuing to be fun, and I really enjoy it. And I don't see this leaving my collection because, again, it's small, it's portable, it's quick to play, and it's great to just grab when I'm bored and want to do something to have fun for 15-20 minutes. Yeah, I can't say enough good about this game. I really enjoy it. And one more thing, there's another expansion coming. Right now it's in the Ugly Griffin Inn Kickstarter campaign that's going to add even more animals into the game to throw in even more variety, and I cannot wait to try those out as well. So again, I definitely recommend you at least give this one a look if you're into solo games that play quickly and you can carry it in your pocket. It's not going to be a heavy, super deep strategy type game, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. I hope you enjoyed everything you saw today. If you did, please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.